The conflict between Pakistan and India is intensifying, becoming increasingly dangerous for both nations and their civilians. On the night of May 7, 2025, Pakistan was peacefully asleep. However, at 10:05 a.m., everything changed when India conducted airstrikes on 9 locations throughout Pakistan. India claims that over 70 militants were killed, while Pakistan has labelled it an act of war. It's important to remember that both nations possess nuclear weapons. The pressing question now is, will Pakistan retaliate? Earlier, on April 22nd in Kashmir, 4 terrorists crossed from Pakistan and opened fire on tourists, resulting in 26 deaths. This infuriated people across India, leading to widespread protests. Subsequently, India adopted a more measured approach, halting talks with Pakistan and suspending the river water agreement that supplies water from India to Pakistan. Pakistan responded firmly, with leaders warning, if you block our water, there will be blood in those rivers. The Indian Prime Minister authorized military actions, allowing for target selection and planning. Intelligence agencies began tracking the terrorists, while the army positioned itself along the border. Fighter jets conducted drills, warships patrolled the seas, and soldiers prepared their weapons. Pakistan remained on high alert with little sleep for its citizens as the atmosphere suggested that something significant was imminent. On the night of May 7, 2025, Pakistan was quiet and dark. Most people were asleep in their homes. Then, at exactly 10:05 a.m., the whole mood changed. Indian jets lifted off from their runways. In total, they launched 24 rockets. These missiles flew fast and true toward 9 hidden militant camps. Some camps were tucked away in the hills of Pakistan, administered Kashmir, while others lay out in farming areas in Punjab. India's planners had picked these sites carefully because they believed this is where the militants were. Within minutes, each missile hit its mark. In Muzaffarabad, locals heard deep booms and saw tall clouds of smoke. In Kian and Shakagar, flames lit up dark fields. In Ahmeda Shakir, villagers ran outside to find the ground shaking and dust rising where a camp once stood. Indian leaders say they aimed only at the camps. No homes, schools, or army bases were touched. They made sure the attack was precise to spare ordinary people. By 1:25 a.m., the final missile fell onto its target, and the attack was over. Back at Indian command centres, officers watched their screens and saw that the operation went as planned. The jets returned to base. Over the border, Pakistan's reaction was quick and intense. Air raid sirens screamed in cities. Soldiers ran to their stations and radar dishes turned to track the skies. Families woke up in panic, huddling in basements or rushing into the streets. No one slept that night. By morning, the news came out. India says about 50 militants were killed in the strikes. Pakistan's leaders condemned the attack as an act of war and warned they might respond soon. Masood Azhar was one of India's top terror targets. Intelligence said he helped plan the April 22nd attack in Pahalgam and ran training camps in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. When India struck on May 7th, they aimed at his hideout near Kotli, hitting 9 spots with 24 precision missiles. But Azhar wasn't there. He had slipped away just hours earlier. Tragically, about 10 of his family members were killed when their house next to the camp was struck. As for Azhar himself, no one knows for sure what happened to him during the raid. He could still be alive, hiding somewhere, or he might have been injured or killed later. This isn't the only clash that happened between India and Pakistan. On September 18, 2016, 4 militants slipped across the line of control from Pakistan into Uri, Kashmir. Under cover of darkness, they breached the camp fence and opened fire on sleeping soldiers. By the time help arrived, 19 Indian soldiers were dead and over 30 wounded. The attackers then vanished back across the border. India reacted with outrage, blaming Pakistan-based groups for the raid. Diplomatic ties and some trade with Pakistan were scaled back immediately. India's surgical strikes occurred 10 days later, on the night of September 28th to 29th. India launched surgical strikes against militant camps across the line of control. Quiet planning and intelligence pinpointed the exact locations of 7 militant launch pads. Only top commanders knew the plan. Stealth teams crossed the line of control on foot, avoiding patrols in rough terrain. They hit each camp with explosives and grenades, destroying bunkers, weapons, and communication gear. Brief firefights broke out, but the strikes were over in minutes. Troops pulled back across the border quickly, leaving flattened camps behind. At dawn on September 29th, India announced it had destroyed the launch pads and killed a significant number of militants, with no Indian casualties. Pakistan denied any incursion, calling India's claims propaganda. Global leaders urged both sides to avoid escalation, warning that conflict between two nuclear powers could be disastrous. On February 14, 2019, a suicide bomber from the militant group Jaish-e-Mohammed rammed an explosive-laden SUV into a convoy of India's Central Reserve Police Force, CRPF, near Pulwama in India-administered Kashmir. The convoy was carrying about 78 vehicles and nearly 2,500 officers on their way to provide security for local elections. The blast happened around 3:15 p.m., ripping through one of the buses. Tragically, 40 CRPF personnel lost their lives, and more than 60 were injured. The attack was one of the deadliest against Indian security forces in decades, and sparked widespread anger and grief across India. India's response just days later, on February 26th, involved Operation Swift Retort. Under cover of darkness, before dawn, Indian Air Force Mirage 2000 jets crossed the line of control and dropped precision bombs on what they called a Jaish training camp in Balakot, Pakistan-administered Kashmir. India said it had struck the camp where the Pulwama attackers were trained. Pakistan scrambled its air defences, and in a brief dogfight, both sides claimed to have downed enemy aircraft. One Indian MiG-21 Bison was shot down, and its pilot was captured, though he was returned safely to India 2 days later. Pakistan also reported losing one F-16 jet, but India denied this claim. Now, on May 7, 2025, India called its airstrike Operation Sinindor. In Hindu tradition, a husband applied Sinigdor vermilion to his wife's hair part as a sign of love and marriage. The name honours the memory of the pahalgam attack victim whose husband was killed. His widow Sinigdor now marks her loss. India was quick to say its May 7th strikes were aimed only at terrorists, not at Pakistan itself. Operation Sinindor targeted militant camps and training facilities, not civilian areas or military bases. But Pakistan didn't stop there. In Islamabad, top security officials have been holding emergency meetings around the clock, weighing their options. Publicly, Pakistani leaders have reminded everyone that their country is a nuclear power and that their missiles are built to be used, not just stored in silos. I'm not here to push any side's agenda. I just want to bring you the real facts from the ground. Your one like and subscribe motivates me and my team. The tension is real on the ground. Almost immediately after Operation Sinindor, Pakistani forces opened heavy artillery fire across the line of control. Today, the Indian government said that Pakistan struck back on the night of May 8th, firing drones and missiles at places like Srinagar, Jammu, and Amritsar. India's air defense system shot down every threat, and destroyed drones and missiles are being collected as proof. Early this morning, India hit back at Pakistan's air defense radars, knocking out at least one system near Lahore. Along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan also fired mortars and heavy artillery into border villages in Poonch and Rajouri. Local officials report that at least 15 civilians, including women and children, were killed in the shelling, with 43 more injured. India's leaders are watching Pakistan's movements closely. India's military remains on high alert along the border, with fighter jets scrambling on training missions and troops reinforcing forward positions. The Prime Minister has publicly stated that India wants peace but will not hesitate to defend itself. Ordinary Pakistani citizens, already struggling with high inflation in a shaky economy, now face the added fear that a full-scale war could break out at any moment. People report sleeping with one ear open for sirens, and families are quietly stockpiling food and water just in case. For now, both countries are locked in a dangerous standoff. India insists it struck only at terrorists, while Pakistan insists it has the right to respond. Meanwhile, ordinary people on both sides of the border watch and wait, hoping the crisis ends without sliding into open war. Will Pakistan reply with full-force military action?
Reports confirm that Pakistan's army has been indiscriminately shelling schools and homes in India-controlled Kashmir. resulting in the death of 13 civilians, including 4 children, with 59 more injured, according to the New Indian Express. Podcaster Patrick Bet-David doubled down on this, giving everyone in the West an idea of why this conflict started and how callous the Pakistan army really is.
India just bombed Pakistan. India literally just attacked Pakistan, and this is not good. This attack was a reaction to what happened on 22nd when 5 militants from Pakistan terrorist group come in and killed 26 only men. They allowed their wives to live. They killed 26 men, letting the women know, go show Modi what we did. They had the folks who said, what religion are you? I'm Hindu. Boom, kill them. What religion are you? I'm Muslim. Oh, really? Yeah. Why don't you tell me the Islamic kalima? They don't have it. Boom.
Online commentators agreed, blasting Pakistan for escalating the war and targeting civilians, saying India is attacking Pakistan militarily. That's called war. Pakistan is attacking Jammu civilians. That's called terrorism. And American Indian politician Nikki Haley agreed, slamming Pakistan, saying terrorists launched an attack that killed dozens of Indian citizens. India had every right to retaliate and defend itself. Pakistan does not get to play the victim. No country gets a pass for supporting terrorist activity. And human rights lawyer Deepika Pushar Nath doubled down, saying Pakistan has crossed all limits. Targeting civilians in Poonch, including innocent women and children, is a cowardly and inhumane act. India strikes terrorists, not innocents. Know the difference. She then exposed live footage of Pakistani missiles attacking the civilian area where she resides. She said, missiles are flying over our houses in Jammu right now. This is not hearsay. I'm witnessing and recording it myself. The threat is real. Civilian lives are at stake. This is in stark contrast to India's military, which has been constrained to terrorist camps, as confirmed by the Indian Foreign Secretary.
Emphasized that the action was restrained. It was directed towards non-civilian, non-military targets and confined to terrorist camps. And again, as we have been saying since yesterday, any further action by Pakistan, some of which we are seeing today, is nothing but escalation by Pakistan now once again, and will be responded to and is being responded to appropriately.
Pakistan is being blasted globally for protecting terrorist groups, according to reports. Indian cricketer Virender Sehwag slammed Pakistan, saying war has been chosen by Pakistan when they had an opportunity to keep quiet. They have escalated to save its terrorist assets, speaks so much about them. Our forces will reply in the most appropriate manner, a manner Pakistan will never forget. The worldwide condemnation comes after Pakistan's defense minister was humiliated on CNN, where he attempted to use social media as proof that Pakistan downed an Indian jet.
You've just brought up the fact that India lost some fighter jets, so let's be quite clear about this. Pakistan claims it shot down 5 Indian Air Force jets and a drone, as I understand it. India says there's no evidence of that, no proof. So can you provide more detail? Hold on. Can you provide more detail? And is this the response that your army spokesman threatened, or is there further action to come? Let's start with this very specific allegation of 5 fighter jets shot down. Where's the evidence for that, sir?
It's all over the social media, on Indian social media, not on our social media. The debris of these jets fell into Indian occupied Kashmir, and it's all over Indian media today.
You're the defense
and they have
minister.
admitted their media has.
The reason to talk to you today, sir, is not to talk about content all over social media. I'm sorry. It's not to talk about content all over social media. I'm asking you very specifically.
Online commentators were in disbelief over the interview, with this person saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Defence Minister of Pakistan, a clown masquerading as a statesman. Confronted with a demand for proof and downing Indian jets, he shamelessly stated that it's all over social media. What a joke. No evidence, no credibility, no accountability, just empty noise. This is the face of a country that exports terror and then cries foul when hit back.